We're joined right now by Missouri State Senator Ed Emory from District 31 over in Lamar, south of Kansas City. Senator, how are you?
Mark, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well.
Yes, we are. I wanted to talk to you about your Student Safety Act, which is Senate Bill number 98. What can you tell me about it?
Sure. And that summarizes it pretty carefully. It's designed to ensure the personal privacy and safety of every student in a public school classroom from K through higher ed. And it simply establishes what has long been the practice in any public school, and that is that whenever students are in any state of undress, whether it's in a shower room or a locker room or whether it's in a restroom, that they are separated according to gender. We've always had male and female bathrooms according to biological sex, and it continues to maintain that. It's just that we now have a new set of genders that we had never anticipated before recent federal actions and court opinions, and so we're trying to accommodate those new genders that have been created in the same manner that we've always addressed gender differences in those circumstances where they're in a state of undress.
So this has sort of been precipitated, I'm guessing, by the rulings by the Department of Education under Barack Obama saying that it was a Title IX issue, that these schools risked losing federal funding if they didn't accommodate letting someone who is gender confused, I guess, use whichever locker room they want.
That's correct. If a person is a biologic male and wants to use the female locker room, then according to that order, they have to be permitted to do that. And that puts there's a very small percentage of students that actually would fall into those new created gender categories, gender identities, I think they call them. It's less than 1%. And we certainly want to ensure the safety of every one of those students at the same degree that the other 99% would be ensured. The difficulty comes, I think, Mark, is when you begin sacrificing the safety and privacy of the 99% in the interest of protecting the privacy or safety of the 1%. And this bill was designed to ensure that the 100%. The 100% of students are insured both privacy and safety.
So what? For example, I know that I've seen language in bills like this before where it specifically says you would be provided a separate bathroom facility or something like that. Is that going to require school districts to build something new to comply with that?
No, there are actually some suggestions in the bill as to what acceptable accommodations would be. They include single-stall restrooms, unisex restrooms, controlled use of faculty restrooms, or controlled use of locker rooms or shower rooms. So there's some suggestions in the bill. Those are not prescriptions. They're just simply saying these are examples of the things that you could do, but it's leaving it up to the local schools and school boards how they accommodate it. It just advises them that they shall continue to accommodate male and female students, but they also need to consider and have accommodations for students that claim they're neither male nor female.
We're talking to Senator Ed Emory, who's describing his Student Safety Act, which is Senate Bill number 98. Just out of interest, now I know that my suspicion is that under a Trump Department of Education, this particular rule is going to be addressed at some point and rolled back, I hope. In the meantime, how does a bill like this in Missouri, assuming it became law, how does it operate versus a Title IX challenge? I mean, if this was to remain in force from the Justice Department or the Department of Education, could it be challenged in court?
Sure. If in fact, and I understand that yesterday there was some activity on the Barack Obama mandate, and that we may see some almost immediate retraction of some of that imposition. So we're in a state of transition right now as this new administration orients itself and reevaluates some of the things that were done by the Obama administration, and we have to acknowledge that, and we will do that as we decide exactly how to progress with Senate Bill 98. But yes, if in fact nothing had changed, then this certainly could be challenged. I think it could be easily defended. I don't think there's anything in here that couldn't be defended in court based on precedent and based on just natural law and just good common sense. I think the case and the Attorney General, I think, would in fact vigorously defend the law if it was challenged.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the effort, and I understand what you're trying to do here. I find it disgusting to listen to people like the NBA commissioner the other day talking about boycotting states like North Carolina that have stood up for the rights of the 99%, as you referred to them, to try to give them privacy protections, and yet you risk being blackmailed by professional sports organizations and the NCAA and other organizations who, for politically correct reasons, want to defy you on this.
Well, parenting has not gotten easier in the last 8 years. It's gotten much more difficult, and this is one arena where you can imagine, I don't know how many children you may have, Mark, but, it's not always easy discussing these issues with your young children in a natural law environment. But when you begin to create new genders and create unscientific places for people to stand, and when the mind becomes what determines your sexuality versus the biology and the anatomy, that just complicates it. I know one of the court opinions that was not too long ago, I guess, was released. The comment was made that when a definition adds complexity rather than clarity, it's a bad definition, and that's essentially what has happened here. Is that instead of clarifying gender issues, we have complicated and obfuscated them, and that to me in itself says this is probably a bad idea. But the situation still remains that there are students in schools across the state that claim to be in these categories that are not male or not female. They're something else. And in the interest of public education, we have to figure out how those are going to be addressed, and that's really what's brought it into the legislature.
Sure,
is the idea that our laws as they stand now, they were written whenever we all agreed that man was made male and female, and that was it. You were one or the other, and now our schools are being asked to address this, and our communities and the legislature is basically, by Senate Bill 98, is saying we have to address this. We have to acknowledge that the courts have created these entities that heretofore did not exist, but we're going to have to address them legislatively.
Senator, I appreciate your time. Where does the bill stand? Is it out of committee?
No, it was just heard yesterday. It was a lengthy hearing yesterday, and I am in the process of preparing a substitute, making a few changes to areas that I think came to light yesterday that probably could be said better. And then I will be talking to the committee members and the chairman to see whether we can, in fact, move it out of committee.
Very good. Senator Ed Emory, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Good to talk to you. You have a great day.